what got me into like learning about health and got me all this stuff is like when I was a little kid, I loved X-Men. I know it sounds weird. And I like my whole life is like I wanted to be that. You know, I wanted to be that muscle guy, like the Hulk, you know. I mean, I don't have the genetics to be the Hulk, but I was like, you know, I was like, I want to be Wolverine, you know, like I want to just be invincible. And that's what got me to learning. And I'm constantly trying to hack into what my body can do. And I don't know everything, and I think that's why the medical system needs to be more open-minded to this kind of stuff. I think when it comes to like medical system, it's like, my doctor said this, so we're gonna do it this way. But people don't realize is that doctor went to school 20 years ago, and that was current 20 years ago. And that's even like a young doctor. So most doctors are in their 50s, 60s, so they were educated about nutrition 30, 40 years ago. So I hope we've learned more. You know, like I hope we've learned more. And at the end of the day, doctors when it comes to nutrition and health, but they don't learn health, they learn medicine. And we have to step back and be like, doctors are great at saving lives, giving them medication, but they're not good at getting healthy. You know, how many people can say, look at a doctor and be like, that's health? Because we should be able to look at a doctor and be like, okay, when you see someone, you can tell if they're healthy or not. So shouldn't we be able to look at a doctor and be like, oh, he's healthy, and that's a doctor? We cannot tell a doctor from a normal person. So if a doctor can't get healthy, why do we trust them with getting healthy?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and there are some doctors that don't fit the mold, but those doctors that don't fit the mold, they studied outside of med school. And they did it for other reasons. They have other degrees, and but I just think it's just so hard that we should trust doctors on certain things. When it comes to nutrition and health, we should trust some doctors. Just like you trust your nephrologist for your kidneys, there needs to be a doctor when it comes to health and wellness. Now, a general doctor might be able to help you, just like a general doctor might be able to help you in your kidneys. But they're not all the same. You know, we can't, and the way it is, it's the body is so complex. We can't expect doctors to know everything.
Right.
You know, there's new medications coming out, new technology, new surgeries. You want them to be updated on the latest surgery or latest medication, or on nutrition. You know, that's where there's nutritionists, health coaches out there. That's where that market needs to be filled, not by doctors. And like I said, how long could I could probably talk to you for 3 to 4 hours about nutrition and still not even teach you everything, and still not even have a perfect plan. People see a doctor once a year. They got 5 to 30 minutes, and 30 minutes, that's not going to happen. So we really can't put all this pressure on doctors to help you on nutrition. They really got 5 to 10 minutes, and that's me being nice. You know, you're lucky if you get, you know, and he's got to find out everything. He's got to look at your labs, he's got to analyze it, and then and then he's going to be like, okay, maybe you should cut this out. But he doesn't have time to change your whole damn life.
Yeah. And I feel that's where I'm at. I'm trying to get educated as well on my nutrition, right? I feel that, yes, like you said, I follow what the doctors told me, but I don't really know if that's the correct thing to do because I still don't feel great while I'm taking the Manjaro. So there's things that I feel that are not working for me, and I'm trying to get educated on what's the best thing for me to do and how to continue to get healthy.
And I think the doctor's advice is correct, but it may not be correct for you.
Right.
Like, there's vegans that are healthy and there's vegans that are unhealthy. You know, we can't be giving this advice, like a lot of people are like, let's go plant-based. Well, there's unhealthy plant-based people and there's healthy plant-based people. You know, there's healthy carnivores, there's unhealthy carnivores. You know, we have to look at the bigger picture and genetics and lifestyle before, you know, just giving these, you know, simple cookie cutter plans. And these cookie cutter plans will work for some people.
Yeah, everybody's different. We need to individualize their care and their needs.
And Manjaro is a new drug.
Right.
You know, it's not, right now I think a lot of people are not used to it. I think even like General Mills and the junk food companies are like they're now making, their new plan is to make food box of cereal now lasts you for 3 years when you're on Manjaro, where like before it would be like, oh, it's going to be done in a day. So now they're going to make, that's their news. They're going to make food.
And I feel like one of the, right now that you mentioned vegan, I feel like one of the main side effects that I've seen from a client that was vegan and started Manjaro is that by going into the 2nd month already, they started suffering from hair loss. So that was a big thing that we had to see what was going on and try to adjust their plan to stop the hair loss that they were suffering from.
And how did you fix it, or how did you adjust it?
We went over their diet, but at the time we didn't know that the vitamin B complex was going to be good for them. So at that time we didn't pair it up with that medication, which I know right now that would have been probably very helpful for them.
But, and then when it goes to the vegans, vegetarians and all that stuff, in order for a human to survive off plants, they need to intake about 28 pounds of food. So when you're on a Manjaro, you're not going to be able to eat 28 pounds of food.
Much, no.
So what is plants are full of? Fiber. So you have to basically that's going to affect, I'm going to have this, fiber is a great thing for losing weight, but it's not for everyone. So someone on Manjaro, that's going to give you more, bulk. So they're going to fill up on fiber when they're not filling up on nutrients. And that's going to decrease absorption. So being on Manjaro is already decreasing absorption. Fiber is going to decrease absorption even more. Now, another thing is when it comes to plants, when plants and animals, protein are different. The bioavailability of meat is better because we're able to absorb it. It's like meat for meat. Like we understand we're able to absorb it. When it plants, it's usually incomplete. So it's going to have certain amino acids and we'll break it down. But if it's not paired with or if we don't eat the other amino acids, it's not going to give us the building blocks to repair the body.
To repair it.
And then if you look at the protein content of like broccoli, I think it's like a big bag of broccoli is like the same as a steak. But who can eat a bag of broccoli? Like what vegetarian is going to be like, yeah, I'm going to eat this bag of broccoli?
No.
And especially on Manjaro.
No, you can't. You can't eat that much.
So when I was on carnivore, I went down and I would probably get full of 4 to 5 ounces of meat when I was doing carnivore. So a carnivore diet, I think, with Manjaro is an ideal diet. There's a lion diet, and basically steaks. If you were to eat steak the rest of your life, you would not be deficient in any vitamins or minerals. Steak,
Yeah, and I think, you know what? Right now that you mentioned carnivore, my husband tried carnivore. And he felt really good on carnivore. I saw a change definitely on his mood. He slimmed down right away. His gut health right away. His stomach went down. I felt that changed drastically with him. But since he was eating a lot of meat, right, I was consuming as well some protein instead of just chicken and fish. And I feel, now that you're talking about it, that's when I felt very healthy being on Manjaro. I think that in that period in that month when he did carnivore, that's when I lost the most weight.
Yeah, and I think like people like are always like, people are like, I'm getting healthy and I cut out red meat. I was like, why would you cut out red meat? Like, that's the red meat is a superfood. Everyone's trying to get that collagen in, and ground beef is going to have collagen. It's going to be easily absorbed, and you know what? And especially with this economy, it's very inexpensive. And it's filling.
Yeah.
So I'm a big advocate on beef. I try to have about 80% of my meals needs to be beef. And I've done carnivore, and I just think it's people are scared of it because of atherosclerosis and all those kinds of diseases. But the correlation between atherosclerosis is there's more of a link to atherosclerosis and insulin than beef. So heart disease and all these things are more linked to insulin than beef. Now there are studies out there, but I think those studies are biased. And I think we have to step back and be like, yes, there's studies, but I remember when I was in school, I could always find a study that agreed with me. I can be like, you know what? Coffee causes cancer. Now I could probably, look on right now and be like, I can find that article, because there's some article that says that, or that agrees with that.
Right. So what would you you recommend for somebody that's on Manjaro
Well, I
as
recommend,
far as diet?
I think the biggest thing is only eat when you're hungry. I think that's the biggest hurdle. We tell people eat, to keep up your metabolism. If that was true, then all these people would be healthy. And I think when it goes to like cancer patients, what do we tell cancer patients? Eat every 2 to 3 hours to gain weight, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we're telling people to lose weight, they need eat every 2 to 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So we're giving someone bad advice.
Right.
So we're telling people, cancer patients, that eat every 2 to 3 hours to gain weight, and people to lose weight eat every 2 to 3 hours. So I would say you probably need to eat 1 to 2 meals a day, and maybe just do a long fast, and make sure you replenish your electrolyte. So I'd say Manjaro paired with a good IV hydration infusion would be ideal. Because when you're on Manjaro, your insulin level is going to go down. When your insulin level goes down, you're going to have that electrolyte imbalance. So you need to correct that electrolyte imbalance and the excretion of salt. So
That makes sense.
so you fix that, and the person's going to feel great. That's why so many people have done water fast and they just don't water and salt. And then you might feel a little nauseous, but that's because of other things that are kicking in. So some people, have you ever injected glucagon into a patient?
Yes.
What does it make them? Nauseous.
Nauseous, no way.
So your body's you tell me you get nauseous, your body's releasing glucagon, which is basically breaking down fat and turning into sugar.
Yeah, that's
So sometimes losing weight, it sucks. It's not comfortable. Our body's not gonna like it. You know what? And that's why, who the hell likes dieting? No one likes losing weight. We gotta throw that stuff out the window. It's not a fun thing. Like, unless you're like, unless you're a masochist, but then, and you just love hurting yourself, then it's fun. But I've never met anyone that's like, oh man, it's great. Today's my low carb day. No one's excited about that because our body doesn't like it. But just, our body's not always supposed to be happy. And we have to step back and be like, you know what? Like if our body wanted to, it would sit in bed and eat donuts all day. That's what our body wants to do.
Yeah.
We'd feel sick and our body would, but we have to just sometimes.
Yeah, and I feel that's where I continue to struggle a bit with my diet. Getting the right diet for me, the one that's gonna give me the energy to do what I have to do, to juggle my both jobs, to be with my kids and take them everywhere they need to go, practices, and get myself to the gym. I feel that I'm not there yet. So that's where I feel that education is very important. That's where I feel that I need to reach out, right? Like somebody like you as well. I mean, to see what's the best options for me while I'm on the weight loss program.
And I think everyone just has to have an open mind. You know what? When it comes to weight loss, there's someone out there, like I'm a big carnivore, but I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that does better on vegetarian. And that's cool.
And every time you say carnivore, I smile because I remember telling my husband, like, carnivore, what do you mean? That's going to be bad for you. It's going to be bad. But I don't know. It's just misconceptions, not being completely informed. But yeah, that's the first thing that I told him. I'm like, carnivore, why would you do that?
And I think a lot of people, we need to look at history.
Yeah.
History has our answers. You know what? What did we eat? What did we eat before we started growing crops? Animals.
Mm-hmm.
And then back then,
That's exactly
you know
what
what?
he told me.
Like, if you look at, you go into the Amazon rainforest, and you have a choice between eating like a fish or a deer, or the plants out there, what do you think is going to kill you first? Plants.
The plant.
Plants are poisonous. Every plant has a defense mechanism. Cactuses have those thorns.
Yeah.
Now, just because that defense mechanism doesn't kill you, doesn't mean you should eat it. And I think people will be like, oh, I've been eating this for years. It's like, you know what? An alcoholic drinks a beer every day.
Mm-hmm.
Or not a beer, but an alcoholic can drink 12 beers, a bottle of liquor,
Right.
and they're not dead. And I think we have to set our standards a little bit higher. So, but yeah. Well, if you ever need help with, thank you guys again. Second closing remarks.